Well, at this point, once we have understood how to find middle C on every kind of keyboard, now, of course, we have to find all the other notes of our sheet music. So we're going to do first off with for the treble staff, and then for the bass staff. So we are going to look at this. We're going to find the corresponding keys of every staff. Okay. So before we start with this, I have to highlight something, and it is this. As you can see at the top of the video, there is a picture with the notes, with the staves. In this case, you have the treble staff, and this is something quite important that will allow you to see at the same time the notes, the keys that I'm lowering, and the corresponding notes on the sheet music. Okay, so let's start, of course, with let's start from the treble staff. So we said that the first note is middle C. So here is the middle C, and this is something very important because we already know how to find it. So once we know this, once we have found the corresponding key, which is this, we have to go up. I mean that we have other two notes in the first measure. These notes are D, which is the higher D, which is D higher D than the middle C. So this D, and then we have a half note E, and of course this will be the corresponding key. So C, D, and E. Half note E. Then the second measure, in the second measure we have a whole note rest, and so we get to the third measure, in which we have the D note, and this note is the next higher note from middle C. So this is the D, the key corresponding to the D note. Then I go to E, so I move up to E, and then I move up to F, a half note F. Then again on the fourth, so these are the first three measures. And then I come to the fourth measure, and again I have a whole note rest. So I come to the fifth measure, and here I have G. I have G. And this G is the next higher note from F, from the previous F that we had, the last note of the third measure. So of course this will be the corresponding key, the key which corresponds to G. Then I go down to E. Of course here I have two steps. So I go to E, and this will be, of course, the E. Then I have a half note rest, and then I get to the sixth measure. I have a quarter note F, and this is the key. Then I move down two steps, so I will have D, and this is, of course, is the D. It is the higher D from the C, from middle C. Then again I have a half note rest, and I come on the seventh bar to E, half note E, then half note D, and then I end with a whole note C, which of course is middle C of the piano. Well, this is something very important. Okay, so as you can see, once we have learned how to find all the different notes, different notes, different durations, and so on our sheet music, it is very easy. Once we know how to find middle C, it is very easy to find all the other notes on the keyboard, because it's just a question. You only need to count from one note. You only have to move by step, counting from one line to the next space, then to the next line, and so on. And the same happens. It also applies for the keyboard. So when we have to find the corresponding keys. So since it is quite easy to do this, and we already found all the names of the notes, even for the bass staff, I want you to try to find the corresponding keys of the bass staff. I want you to try it on your own. So pause the video, try it on your own, then we are going to see it together. So pause the video and try it on your own. Well, okay, so we start with in the first measure. If we take a look at the bass staff, so we have a whole note rest, of course. So we don't have any sound in the first measure. In the second measure, we start with middle C. Then we go down, go in the opposite direction than the right hand. So I go down, so I go to the B note, to B, then I move to A. This is the corresponding key, of course. Then on the third measure, I have again a whole note rest. Then on the fourth, then I get on the fourth measure to the fourth measure. Well, I have the the B note, the one above the middle C. So B, A, and G, half note G. Then again on the fifth measure, I have a half note rest, and then I have F with this, which is this F. Of course, it is the F below the G note, the last G, the last note of the fourth bar. And then I move up 2 steps, so this is A, so the last note of the fifth bar, the fifth measure. Then again on the sixth measure, I have on the first 2 beats I have a half note rest in correspondence of the first 2 beats, and then again I have G, which of course will be this G, because it is the one below the last A. And then again I move up 2 steps, so I come to B. Then I have a quarter note rest. On the second beat I have a quarter note A. Then I move up to B. Then I go down 2 steps to G, and this is the corresponding key to the G. So this is the right key. And then we end our piece with in the correspondence of the bass staff. On the last measure, we have first off we have a half note rest, and then we have the C, which is the one. It is the lower octave C from middle C. So since this is middle C, these will be the lower octave C from middle C. So in this way, we have managed to find all the notes of our sheet music on the keyboard, both, so either for the treble staff, either for the bass staff. As you can see, it is very, very easy. So if we follow this method, the method that we have started, I mean the study method we introduce in the first lesson of this cycle of lessons, you can see that it is very easy to go on to follow our path, because we go in a very logical direction. we followed we can say a very logical path. We have some steps, and following these steps, so going from one step to the next step and so on, it is something very, very clear. It is something very easy, because music is very easy if you approach it in a very logical sense, in a very logical way. So I hope it is clear, and I think it is. And so in the next lesson we're going to apply everything we learned in this lesson. So now we are able to find all the different notes on the piano, on the keyboard, and of course in the next lesson we're going to play these notes. So we're going to play with the correct duration. So please remember always this aspect, that when we talk about notes, we always have to think about them, thinking both at duration and at pitch. So sometimes we need to consider before, for example, pitch, and then so we can consider duration, or sometimes we will prefer to find before the duration and then pitches. So it is it depends on the situation, of course, but this is a very logical way of reading notes and applying everything we learn at the piano. So in the next lesson you will see how easy it is to play this song, this piano piece, once we have understood, we have approached all these things, once we have focused on all these different things. Because please remember, music is something very easy. Only, of course, if we approach, we can say, if we learn it, if we go in a very logical direction.